Inhale deeply for Om. 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 Guru Brahma, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat, Guru Sakshat, Param Brahma, Param Brahma, Tashmai Shri, Tashmai Shri, Gurave Namaha, Gurave Namaha, Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu, Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra above your head. Offer your practice today to someone who's inspired you in your spiritual life. Be a human, animal, or nature being. Visualize them. Dedicate any happiness you may gain from your practice to them. Namaste. I've been meaning to fix that forward for 25 years. Okay, I don't stand here very often.
You've got a few others.
I know, yeah, this is the worst one, yeah. Okay. These are the practices we've been doing for the last term. So some of you may have missed some of these, but I'm just going to go through them anyway. And so what these are is preparation for meditation techniques. Preparation for meditation we call Pratyahara. So although commonly when you're talking about yoga meditation, like Sushumna Nadi breathing, slowing down the chanting, Tratak, they're called meditation practices, but they're not actually meditation. These are ways of preparing the mind for meditation. So it's part of the kind of system of yoga. It starts with asana, pranayama, pratyahara, asana, pranayama, yama, niyama. Yama is how you treat others. Niyama is how you treat yourself. Asana, you know. Pranayama, you know. Pratyahara is this. And then dharana and dhyana are two stages of meditation. And then samadhi is the final stage of meditation. There's actually 3 phases of samadhi, but we're not going to get that far today. So this technique that you're doing relates to all these things, and there are many others. There's a conversation which is said to have happened between Parvati and Shiva, and Parvati says, how does one still the mind for meditation? And I think the number is something like 125. Shiva said, well, there's 125 different ways of stilling the mind in yogic meditation. So here we've got 6 to give you an idea. So Pratyahara literally means delinking. So it's a process in which you delink the mind from impressions which are made by the senses. So the senses, when the eyes see, the nose smells, the ears hear, the tongue tastes, the skin touches, the senses, you receive that information into your brain. And when it comes into the brain, you process it in some way, and that creates thoughts. So the idea of a Pratyahara technique is to delink that impulse from the senses from what happens in your brain. And so what that actually does is then it reduces the number of thoughts, and it reduces the intensity of the thoughts. So they have gradually less control over your mind. And all these practices are designed to do that. Does that make sense? Because ideally, when you get to this stage, dharana, which is usually translated as concentrated mind, but it's actually a state of absorption where there's just really one thought. And that thought might be your breath, it might be the mantra Om, it might be a different mantra, but that one thought that you're focusing on, to the exclusion of your kind of exclusion of past, present, time, fluctuations of the mind, that's called dharana. So that is the first proper state of meditation. And then what happens in dharana is when you get comfortable with holding your mind on one object or one thing, it could even be something you're gazing at. And so you kind of like become one with the object, your prana and the prana of the object merge in some way, or of the mantra, they merge in some way, then it moves to dhyana, which is actual meditation. And that's a natural progression which happens by itself through the process of dharana. You can't kind of make yourself meditate, just like you can't make yourself sleep. All the conditions have to be in place, and then your mind can easily drop into meditation. And so this is part of that process. And there's lots of different techniques because we've all got very different karma. So that means our psychic profile, our energetic pranic profile is all subtly different due to all, just our history, our former births, the way we've experienced this life, our parents, our DNA, all the kind of impressions that we're receiving from our environment are all producing karmic responses for us. And so we're complex and we're really different in that way. And so if you have a series of techniques, the idea is that you try some of them until you find one that kind of meshes well with your karma. And some people just thought walking meditation was a complete joke. And some people found walking meditation really powerful. So this is why there's all these different techniques. Am I making sense so far? Yeah. So it isn't just like there's one way of meditating. There's many ways of getting to the state of meditation in yoga. So the first one we did was Marmas release, where we, some of you will remember what we did. So before we actually started, then all these lead to sitting meditation with the spine erect, with the body still, and the eyes closed, and the internal focus on the heart or the third eye repeating mantra. So that is the state that you're working to with all these Pratyahara techniques. And these are the things that prepare the ground for that sitting meditation, which we call deep meditation. That make sense? Okay. So in Marmasthana release, Marmasthana means secret place, so places in the body where the prana resides. And some of these secret places correspond exactly with chakras, but they can be called different names. So what we do is we release well, it's like you just sort of bring your awareness and then you let it drop. And it releases any tension in the third eye, which is there. And then the upper palate, and then the soft palate, the throat pit, the back throat, and then you drop into the heart. And we did that as a preparation before we actually started repeating the mantra and rolling the beads. Okay, that's called Marmasthana release, and it's not a commonly known practice. This is only taught, as far as I know, in the Krishnamacharya tradition, but it wasn't taught to all Krishnamacharya students. It wasn't taught to Iyengar, it wasn't taught to TK Patabi Joys, it wasn't taught to Ramaswamy, it wasn't taught to Indra Devi, it wasn't, there's loads of teachers who come through the lineage of Krishnamacharya, but the person he taught this technique to was his son, Shribashram, and that book, Emergence of Yoga, which is all about using the Marma points in your practice, that's where this comes from. And Krishnamacharya said, I'm giving you this practice, but I'm not giving it to your brothers, because he had two other brothers who were yoga teachers, because one of them is a much more scientific-minded person, one of them is much more into the physical side of yoga, but you're much more spiritual by nature. So because of that, this is the technique I give you, which I think is quite interesting. So Sushumna Nadi is same sort of thing where you're working through energy channels, working with energy. We started by exhaling and dropping the awareness to the perineum, Muladhara chakra, and then we inhaled up through the spine and turned into the center of the head, Ajna chakra, and then we exhaled down. So there's a little pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. Remember this, some of you? Yeah. So this is called Sushumna Nadi breathing. This channel is called Sushumna, which means path of grace or path of light. And breathing up and down through this channel has a very powerful effect on centering the prana in the body. So in the beginning, I said that your thoughts, you know, did I say this? I can't remember. So essentially what are thoughts? They're just little bundles of prana. And they just keep coming and they keep coming. And if prana is a thought, in order to meditate, you have to stabilize the prana. Now, all the things we do in the practice, Kriya, Asana, Pranayama, and Pratyahara, being focused inwards on the Marma points when we do our asana practice, they all are things which start to gather the prana up and draw it towards the center line of the body. And then at the end of the practice, when you sit and you breathe in this way, focusing on that central channel, it draws all the energy into that one central channel. And when it does that, the thoughts naturally subside because the prana is concentrated. Does that make sense? And then what you do is on an inhale, you stop either in the heart or the third eye and rest your awareness there, which means rest your prana there. And resting the prana in one place and repeating the mantra into that place, that creates a field of energy, a field of prana, which is more powerful and more it's a state, it creates a state of suspension for the mind, which doesn't happen when you have lots of thoughts. So that's the technique also for doing that. I mean, I could go on, but I'll try not to. Chanting. So we did the chanting of Om, yes? And the chanting of Om, we did in 3 ways. Vikari, Upanshu, and Manasik. Audible, whispering, and silent. So some people found this really powerful, using the pranava, the sound of creation, and starting with it audible and going quieter and quieter and quieter, more and more subtle, until you go into silence. And then when you go into silence, you just begin your japa on one of those 2 points, heart or third eye. So that's quite straightforward. And I was speaking, so I've had quite a lot of questions on all this stuff, but this is what I recommend to people. I'd recommend that to people who really struggle with sitting and doing any other form of meditation, chanting. But chanting in such a way that it leads gradually to a period, even if it's just a few minutes, of quietly sitting and repeating the name in silence. This is very useful for that, because doing it out loud, it just helps people to keep the mind more focused. And also, if you are in that position where you're really agitated, or you're going through emotional kind of stress like this person was, then you would meditate on the heart chakra and not the third eye. The third eye meditation can create more stress and anxiety if you are going through that, but dropping it down into the heart embodies the meditation more, and it kind of, it's like more healing. Tratak on Om. Tratak on Om and Tratak on Sri Yantra. So most of you would have done that. Now, we did them with the mantra Om, but there are many yantras which have many different mantras with them. Om can be done on a symbol on a piece of paper, or it can be done on a murti, which is like a little statue of Om. And this improves the ability to visualize. So one of the big practices in yoga is visualization, meditation. It's why you use deities, why you use yantras, why you use forms. When you meditate and you rest your gaze on the form, what you do after a while is you start to activate the prana in that form. So it's like anything you give love to, eventually it kind of animates it. And give awareness to, prana to, however you want to talk about it. And what that does, that starts to feed back into your psyche. And it makes it possible eventually to close your eyes and visualize the form. And that isn't really done eventually with any effort. It's like when you close your eyes, the form just starts to appear because it's imprinted itself on your psychic field. And that's very powerful, common, well-known, timeless practice in yoga. And people do it with all sorts of things, with flowers, with stones. I think I mentioned this when I talked about it, with whatever does it for you. But the classic yogic tools are yantras, deity pictures of the different forms of the divine in any tradition, and also mantra Om. All the other things come from that. That's the seed. And then we had Litik Japa, the writing. Who liked Litik Japa? Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good response. We should have paddles, really. So Litik Japa, a lot of people like Litik Japa, and Litik Japa is not a common practice. It's not often done. So Litik Japa can be very useful, and it's again very good if you're quite agitated and you're finding your meditation difficult. Sitting and writing releases a lot of psychic energy, and it gives you something to concentrate your mind on, which is not so slippery. And it also helps with visualization, because the more you write it, the more it impresses itself in your third eye. So that's very underrated practice. If you're going to do Litik Japa, you want, and I really recommend it, especially if you're starting out in meditation, that and chanting, getting quieter, you want to keep a meditation journal. You have a little book, you do your Litik, and it's a little sacred book. You just use it for that, nothing else, no shopping list, nothing. And you keep it somewhere sacred. If you have an altar, you keep it on your altar, and you just keep going until it's full. Walking meditation is pretty obvious. We did it, and it's something, the great thing about walking meditation with japa, mala, is that you can do it in so many circumstances. You can do it walking to work, you can do it walking around the shops, you can do it walking in a garden. It's kind of, you can do it walking in the middle of a city. The noise, it doesn't matter. You can learn to do walking meditation anywhere. And when you learn to do that, even for short periods of time outside your practice in your normal life, when you're washing up, whatever it is you're doing, when you sit, it will be easier to connect to the mantra. It's just like repeating anything. If you keep doing it enough, it becomes more second nature, more embedded. And then Nadi Shodhana we're going to do today, and a lot of you have done a lot of Nadi Shodhana with me in the class, alternate nostril breathing. Now, there's alternate nostril breathing with counting, there's alternate nostril breathing with retentions, but the way we do the alternate nostril breathing more for meditation is using the Marma points. So we'll go through that today. When you inhale, you just flick your gaze, Nasagra, Brumadja, Talumula, Lalata, Kanta, Kantakupa, Hridaya. And then you hold in Hridaya while you exhale. So this is a form of alternate nostril breathing which is works more on stimulating the energy centers to stabilize the prana. That can also happen when you do this practice with more retentions and longer retentions. It arrests the prana, but this is an easier way and more accessible to really everyone. Whereas retentions in Nadi Shodhana take more time to build up to. But later you can do it that way too. Are you with me so far?
Just about.
Okay, so the things you need, if you don't already have one, is a yogic mala. So if you haven't got one, get one. You can buy them for a few quid on the internet, or if you want a really nice one out there, Sanya Matma, his cards next to those malas. He's a proper mala maker. You can get them from him. His website's also very informative and you learn stuff about malas. And then if you want to do yantra or om symbol meditation, I will lend you a yantra symbol or an om symbol, which is suitable for meditation because a lot of them aren't. You can get it copied and then give it back to me. Okay? But you want a good quality copy. Don't do it at home on a crappy photocopier. Take it to Ely and get Stephen at Ely Print Center to do you a nice quality on good quality paper, so you get the color, so it's really sharp and the colors are good. Yeah, so that you can do. Lithic Japa we've covered, and then these are techniques, but the other primary techniques for this purpose are Kapalabhati and Pranayama. So Kapalabhati is a kriya, it's called a kriya, but really what it's for is for clearing the mind of stuff. It means skull shining. So it clears the mind of debris. It's got other benefits which are physiological, but from the point of view of meditation, if you're feeling, especially in the morning, if you do your meditation, sometimes I do my meditation really first thing in the morning, I can be quite sleepy. You know that feeling? And you sit to meditate and you're like, I wish I was still back in bed. That'd be great. Or when you come home from work or in the evening, you're just a bit tired and you want to meditate, do Kapalabhati first. Kapalabhati will energize you, will lift the prana. And it's a very quick way of lifting prana. So when you do Kapalabhati, that can be a prerequisite to your sitting meditation. And also pranayama. We're going to just do Nadi Shodhana today, but there are other pranayamas that really work. But the foundational pranayama is Nadi Shodhana. And that for a long time in the scriptures was the only pranayama. There were no other pranayamas. All the other pranayamas got added in later as human beings got more messed up. And then what we do in the asana, I think I sort of hinted at this at the beginning. When I did the class on Tuesday, when we'd done all the hasta vinyasas, I just asked the students, I said, what do you think you've just been doing? Have you been doing asana? Have you been doing pranayama? Or have you been doing pratyahara? And we have a series of answers, but the thing is you're doing everything. So you're doing asana. You're also doing pranayama because you're regulating breath. And the definition of pranayama is actually kumbhaka, retention of breath. And so within the asana, you do breath retentions, don't you, in this tradition? So you're doing pranayama, and you're also doing pratyahara. You're delinking the senses because of your awareness of movement and breath, but also because of your internal gaze towards points in the body, often with the eyes closed, or with the eyes open, the drishti to the horizon line, or maybe a part of the body. So those things are containing the mind in a place where it's not so dissipated. It's focusing the mind. So in your asana, you're doing all those things. Or in your asana, you're doing everything before dharana. And then when you do a mudra, like when we do Maha Mudra, or we do Tataka Mudra, where we're holding the breath out and focusing on a point in the body, we are moving towards kind of like a deeper state of dharana. And then meditation comes more easily if you do it at the end. So it's like a system, nothing random here. You just have to find how it's going to work for you. Practice with one of these, try and get into your meditation practice, but realize that meditation practice is in yoga is part of all those other limbs. It's not a standalone practice. I don't teach meditation to anybody who doesn't come to a yoga class. Because you have To be successful in meditation, you have to be able to control your prana. And most people can't control their prana. So if they did, you would need you'd need a different type of meditation for that. Any questions? Make sense?
What's the meditation version of Nadi Shodhana? If Nadi Shodhana is the one all Pranayama that you should do.
Yeah.
What's the original meditation?
What do you mean?
Well, if Nadi Shodhana is the only practice you need before we all got messed up. And so
Oh no, it was the only.
What was like the initial meditation that everybody did?
Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know because I wasn't there 1,000 years ago.
Just came out.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, when you're in the scriptures, the most common meditation is meditation on the pranava. So meditation on the mantra Om. So meditation on the mantra Om came before all the deity mantras. It became before yantras. But I suspect that before, when we were more connected to nature, this is just me surmising, I would suspect it would be more like pagan culture here. They would be doing meditation on the moon, meditation on the sun, meditation on earth forms, meditation on animals, things that sustained them, things that inspired them. And then from that came the awareness that this was all one pranic, one energy. And then that feeling of the vibration of Om came. I mean, the vibration of Om was always there. And if you go deeply into the meditation on any mantra, the predominant vibration will be Om.
Which is why everything starts.
Sorry?
Which is why everything starts with that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Everything starts with Om.
That's all I can say. Namaste. I mean, there's also that thing, isn't there? Like things evolve over time, and now, like one of the main deities that worshipped in India is Shiva. So Shiva's big, but originally Shiva was a storm god. So he was a god of thunder, rain, and so. But people needed that for their survival because of the agrarian culture. People needed the crops to grow. So originally Shiva was worshipped to bring rain. And then it moves on to be something different as things evolve and change. And Ganesha was originally worship of Mother Earth. And that is why he relates to the Muladhara chakra in the base of the spine, because that's the earth chakra. So all these things they evolve from very primal sources, I think. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Ujjayi sound to the breath, your pranayama. Inhale, arms widen over your head. Lift your palms. Lift your chest. Bring your gaze into your heart. Exhale, widen down. Inhale, widen up. Exhale, widen down. Inhale, forward and up, palms down. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, forward and up, chin down. And lift so you feel stretch in the back of your lungs. Keep the lower abdomen in, exhale, forward and down. Inhale, widen up. Exhale, thumbs to the back of your neck, palms up. Go to the end of the breath, hold the breath out, kumbhaka. Chin down, perineum, lower abdomen. Release bandhas, inhale, push the hands to ceiling. Exhale, widen down. Look into your heart. Inhale, widen up, repeat the same vinyasa. Exhale, thumbs to the back of the neck. Try and keep your palms facing up if you can, your elbows wide. Right to the end of the breath. Bandhas, chin down if you can, chin's on the sternum, chest is really lifted up like a balloon. Release bandhas, inhale, stretch up. Exhale, widen down. And then we'll do some Tadasana Vinyasa. So if you can, have your feet together and ideally your heels touching or your feet as close as you can get them. And then inhale, arms over the head, flip your palms. Exhale, lift your heels. Gaze at the floor in front of you, the steady gaze. Doesn't have to be too high. Inhale, lower the heels slowly. Ujjayi breathing, exhale, lower the arms. Ujjayi breathing, inhale, widen overhead. Exhale, lift the heels. Inhale, lower the heels. As the heels go down, lift up more. And keep the length in the spine as you exhale and lower the arms. This time, heels and arms together. Inhale, raise the arms, raise the heels. Exhale, don't move. Go to the end of the breath, bandhas. Release the bandhas, inhale, lower the heels. And lower the arms. And then inhale, turn your feet out like a penguin. And bring the inner legs together if you can. Gaze at the floor in front of you and bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. Gaze gently down into your heart. Even Ujjayi breathing. And inhale, bring your feet together. And exhale, Tadasana. Turn to the right. Stand in Tadasana. Inhale, raise the arms to shoulder level into the middle of your mat. And exhale, hop or step the feet triangle distance apart. Inhale, bring the arms over your head, flip your palms, and turn the right foot out fully and the left foot in sharply. Square your hips to the front of the mat. Warrior one. Exhale, bend the front knee, sweep the arms wide, and bring the palms to shoulder level in front of you. Gaze at the horizon line. Inhale, arms wide and overhead, deep into your shoulder joints. Keep the front knee bent and arch back. Ujjayi breathing. Exhale, bring the arms wide and down, palms face up. And then inhale, bring the arms wide and overhead. And one more vinyasa. Front knee stays bent. Exhale, widen down. Palms shoulder level, shoulders down, inner elbows up, gaze at the horizon line, taraka. Bend the front knee more. Keep the shoulders back over the hips. Keep the tailbone tucked under towards the pubic bone. Lift out of the lower abdomen and back. Ujjayi breathing, no tension in the face. And then flip the palms, inhale, come up and straighten the leg this time and arch back. And exhale, turn to the side, hands to the waist, feet 30 degrees, Trikonasana Sthiti. And then inhale, bring the arms over the head, flip your palms. And turn the left foot out and the right foot in. Back foot's in sharply. And exhale, bend the front knee, sweep the arms in a big circle. Try to keep the shoulders down. And then inhale, widen up. You can just try to lift a little more out of the waist and exhale, widen down. You can bend in the front knee a little bit more each time, do that. One more vinyasa like that. Chin down, Maureen. And hold. Hands shoulder distance apart. The gaze is straight ahead as if you're looking at the sun setting on the horizon. It's called taraka. And try to keep your shoulders back over your hips so you're not leaning forward, so it lengthens the psoas on your right side. Try to keep pushing the back leg back so it's not bending, grounding the outside of the back foot. And then flip the palms and inhale, come up and arch back with the legs straight, front leg straight. And just feel the end of that movement and stretch. And then exhale, turn to the side, hands to the waist, feet 30 degrees. Inhale there. Exhale long. Soften the knees, hop or step the feet together, Tadasana. Turn to face the front, Nataraja. Inhale, bend the right knee to the chest. Exhale, take the right foot or ankle, ideally, in the right hand and draw the knee back so the knees are in line. And then inhale, stretch the left arm up, squeeze the heel into the buttock. And as you exhale, just lift the foot away from the body and up and lean forward a little bit and look at a point of focus on the floor that won't move. And keep your core active, your bandhas, Ujjayi breathing. Bring your fingertips to the wall if you need to. And then squeeze the heel into the buttock and stand up. And as you exhale, release and come down. Do the other side. Ujjayi breathing, please. Try to keep calm, relaxed, and just do what you can, let the breath flow. Be gazing slightly down and try to keep your chest up. Try not to just go too far towards the horizontal. Lift your chest a bit calmly. Exhale there, then inhale, squeeze the heel into the buttock and stand up and stretch. Try and bring the knees in line. And then exhale, release the foot, release the hands, stand in Tadasana. Inhale, bring the arms over the head, flip the palms, lead and return sequence. Exhale, release the palms, and then when you inhale, arch from the upper back, and exhale, fold all the way down. Need to be towards the front of your mat. Then a little shallow inhale there. Exhale, squat down, Utkatasana. Round the back, heels may rise. Little inhale into your back ribs. And hop or step back, Chaturanga. No full prostration in the sequence. And inhale straight to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale there. Take a long exhale. The end of the breath, bandhas, hop or step forward, Utkatasana. Inhale, straighten the legs, Uttanasana. Exhale, fold into the legs. Flip the palms, inhale all the way up. Move the hips back so you keep the strong arms and legs. And exhale, arms to the sides through Anjali Mudra. And inhale, arms widen overhead, flip your palms. Exhale, separate the palms. Inhale, arch back. Don't drop the head back. Look at the tip of the nose. Exhale, just move your hips back. So you flow over your hip joints and keep your legs strong as you fold, arms strong, all the way down. Slow movement. Inhale into the back of your heart, short breath. Exhale long, empty the lungs all the way down till you feel the Mula Bandha engage in your pelvic floor. Utkatasana squat. And inhale again to the back of the heart. Hold the breath, hop or step back, Chaturanga. And just hover in the Chaturanga and fully exhale. Then inhale to upward facing dog, point the toes, drag the feet, bring the chest through the shoulders. Exhale, back downward facing dog. I'm going to stay for 3 breaths this time. Long exhales, optional, bandhas at the end of the breath. Feet are not wide apart. Feet are together or as close as you can comfortably have them. Ujjayi breathing, please. The end of your 3rd breath, fully exhale, bandhas, hop or step forward, Utkatasana. And then stay in Utkatasana, but separate your feet hip distance now. And squat down into Malasana Garland pose. Stay there for a few breaths. Or if you're comfortable, you can go into crow pose for 3 breaths. Bring the heels up. See if you can go a little bit lower. I don't know if that's going to help or not. No, okay, sorry. We tried. That's too big. You need 2 blocks the same size. And push down onto your heels. Maybe too high for you. Okay, we're nearly done now. So. And then come back down into Malasana. Bring your fingertips behind you if you need to, or extend the arms in front of you and resist, and slowly sit down, Dandasana. Good, hands beside the hips, chest up, chin down. Inhale, bring the arms over your head and flip your palms. Exhale, stay. Keep your chin down, you're looking into your heart. Exhale, roll down onto your back, arms over your head. Inhale, hands beside your hips, take rest. Feet together, arms beside the body, palms down. Switch off Ujjayi breathing. Internally, turn the gaze to Hridaya, the center of your chest, just in front of your spine. Breath is very quiet and subtle now as you concentrate the prana. Inhale, bring your arms over your head, flip your palms, Tataka Mudra. Flex both feet, draw your lower back towards the floor. Exhale completely. Turn your gaze down, the center of your body in line with your navel, Nadi. At the end of the breath, hold the breath out. Draw the tummy in, relax your face. Release bandhas, inhale. And a long exhale. You want to be able to really stretch. Go to the end of the breath, empty the lungs completely, don't breathe in, flex the feet, draw the back down, draw the lower abdomen down. Let the diaphragm float up and put a bit of pressure on your heart. Let your navel touch your spine. Relax your face. One more time, in your own time. You want to change the interlock of your fingers, feel free, but try and push the hands away because it helps to stretch the lungs. Lower abdomen should be like a pond mudra. The more you gaze down into the back of the navel center, the easier it is to kind of release the muscles in the abdomen, so it happens as an extension of the posture, not so muscular. Inhale, bring your hands up over your face. And exhale, bring your arms beside your hips. Take rest. So initially, when you do that, to get the feeling of it, there's that feeling like I've got to, use abdominal muscles to draw the abdominal muscles down and up. But eventually, if you get enough extension, you flex the feet strongly and you draw the lower back into the floor, the gaze is what deepens the bandhas. By gazing down, it lifts the perineum up and it lifts the diaphragm up. And as the diaphragm moves up, the hollow in the belly deepens, Uddiyana Bandha. That's a natural extension of the pose eventually. It's a good way of training yourself to feel Mulun Uddiyana Bandha. And then inhale, bring the arms over the head, flip your palms. And exhale completely. At the end of the exhale, sit up and take the big toes with the first two fingers. You can bend your knees if you need to. You can push yourself up a bit if you need to. And then inhale, flip the palms, come up and lay all the way down onto your back. If that's too much for you, you can just come up halfway. And then a full exhale. So use those bandhas again at the end of the breath. As you pause the breath, sit up. Take the outsides of your feet. Ujjayi breathing. And then inhale, flip the palms, come up and go all the way down onto your back. Resist, resist, resist. Good. And then long exhale. And the final vinyasa, when you come up, you take the outside edges of the feet. Okay, and we're just going to stay there today. So inhale there. And exhale, Paschimottanasana. Round the back, close the eyes. Look at the navel. And release any tension in the arms. Exhale completely, empty your lungs. Inhale on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Exhale on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6, on 7, on 8. Pause. Optional bandhas. Inhale on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Exhale on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6, on 7, on 8. Pause. Look navel, bandhas. Release bandhas. Inhale on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Exhale on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6, Om 7, Om 8. As you pause the breath, lift the bandhas, the mind drops. You do the next one, count the Om numbers. After that one, do one more breath. If you're struggling to hold your feet, bend your knees. When you've finished, you flip your palms and come up. And slowly lower the arms, exhale, Dandasana. Chest up and chin down. Don't rush, finish your sequence. Gaze into the heart, Ujjayi breathing. And the hands beside the hips in Dandasana. Bring the hands behind you, 10 inches, fingers forward. Bend the knees or legs straight. Inhale, lift the hips up. And just stay today. Exhale. Inhale, nudge the hips a bit higher, push the inseams of the feet down. One more breath. And then slowly exhale, come all the way down. Cross the ankles, hands to the floor. Hop or step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, lower slowly through Chaturanga to the floor. Exhale, bend both knees, hold the ankles again. Forehead on the floor. Dhanurasana. And then exhale. Just lift the thighs and the legs up. Keep the head on the floor. And then inhale, lift the head and the chest up too. Push the feet away from the head. Come onto your back barbara. And exhale, come down. And do it from the floor. And inhale, just lift your thighs. Really push the feet away. You can keep the head on the floor. And then inhale, lift the head and the chest. See if you can get the shoulders the same kind of height as your knees. And inhale, come down. Third vinyasa. Inhale, lift just legs. Push your forehead into the floor. And exhale, lift head and chest. It can be done on your back, lifting up from the floor if you can't get your ankles. Now take 3 breaths there. Close your eyes. And gently look up to your third eye, Ajna Chakra. Brumaja. Inhales are deep. The exhales are quite short. When you've done your 3 breaths, slowly come down and squeeze the heels into your buttocks. And then release the legs, bring the hands under your shoulders. And inhale, come into Cobra. And exhale, go down. Legs together if you can, toes pointed. Then inhale, lift the forehead, the nose, the chin, and the chest, and the hands and the arms off the floor. And hold for 2 breaths. Turn the gaze up, look third eye. Bhujangi Mudra. Hands off the floor, push your pelvis and your feet down. Keep your gaze up. And then exhale, slowly come down. Inhale, do a low cobra, and exhale, push your seat to the heels, extended child's pose. Forehead on the floor, keep the arms forward, bring the knees together so they touch. And so it rounds the back more and stretches out the back after the back bends. And just do that as much as you can. You can do it on your back, pulling the knees in. You can do all this sort of sequence up the other way, yes. Yeah, just make it easier. And then turn the toes under, come to downward facing dog. And inhale, come forward into plank pose. Do Vaishishtasana. So you can either do it on the hand, or you can bring the forearm on the floor across the mat if you want to come onto the right hand and the outside of the right foot. And then as you stretch the left arm up, push your hips up, engage your core and try and make your body straight. Take 3 breaths. You can have your forearm on the floor. You can have the bottom knee down if you need to, if it's too much. And then exhale, bring the left hand down. Change sides. Inhale, bring the right arm up. Just lift the hips, engage the bandhas, ujjayi breathing. Choose a variation where you're comfortable and where you can breathe. And then inhale, bring the right hand down. Exhale, bring the right hand down and lower straight knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale, low cobra again. And exhale, seat to the heels, long back, down dog. And hold the down dog for 2 breaths. Inhale, hop or step, Utkatasana. Exhale, separate the knees, sit down, Dandasana. Mahamudra. If you need to sit on a block or single-legged forward bends, you can, but you can't be too high for this, just a thin block or maximum 1 block. Dandasana, chest up, chin down, look hard. Inhale, bend the right knee to your chest. Exhale, knee out, foot to the inner thigh. Bring the heel into the perineum or sit up on the heel with the heel between the anus and the genitals. And inhale, float the arms over the head with the left index on top. And exhale, fold forward. When you fold forward, make the ujjayi stronger to control your descent. Inhale, come up. And slowly down with control. And take the big toe with the first 2 fingers of the left hand. Slide the right hand over the top with the fingers towards the heel. And then lift up. So you're drawing back away from the foot with the arms straight and the spine straight. And the chin down towards the chest. Ujjayi breathing, exhale completely. You can bend that left leg a little bit if you need to. Inhale on 1, on 2, on 3, chin down a bit more, Julie. Exhale on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6, look Nadi, navel, bandhas. Release bandhas, inhale on 1, on 2, on 3. Exhale on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6. Pause the breath, or if you're comfortable, bandhas. Chin down if you're doing the bandhas. One more time, release bandhas, inhale. Long exhale. Don't go down, Charlotte, stay up. Pull back. The end of the breath, bandhas. Spine should be straight. You're drawing prana through your spine. Release bandhas, flip the palms, inhale, come up. Exhale, Dandasana. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, knee out. Inhale, float the arms. Right leg straight, right index finger on top, lift. Exhale, one vinyasa, go down. Inhale, come up. Strong ujjayi as you go down. Exhale down. Big toe with the first two fingers of the right hand, if you can reach it. Left hand over the top, the fingers point straight down towards the heel. And then begin that same breath pattern. You got it. This time you're counting. Try and be very calm and relaxed in your face. Just keep your gaze turned down with the eyes closed. Center of the body in line with your belly button. It's called the Manipur. It's also called Nadi. When you've done your 3 full breaths, you can make your way back the way you went in. No rush, take your time. People's breaths are different lengths. People can hold bandhas for different lengths of time. We'll all meet when you're ready in Dandasana. And then inhale, bend your knees, hug your knees to your chest. Exhale, knees wide, soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana, sit on a block if you need to. Open the feet like a book, lift your chest up, bring your chin down. Gaze into your heart, gaze into the throat pit, Kanta. Ujjayi breathing. So you'll feel the Ujjayi breath and the connection to Kanta. If your chin is slightly down, your chest is up. So you just concentrate your prana there. And inhale, and move your feet forward about 12 inches. And exhale, completely round your back and fold forward and bring your head towards the soles of your feet and relax your arms. Gaze perineum, long exhales. Ujjayi sound, please. If you look into the perineum, you concentrate there, the energy there, it kind of helps to release the tension in the hips. And then when you're ready, inhale, sit up, interlock the fingers, stretch the arms overhead. And exhale, extend both legs. Bring both hands to the floor. And inhale. And exhale, just roll down onto your back. Take rest. Inhale, bring the right arm over your head. Exhale, raise the right arm, the left leg. Both straight up. Point the toe. Point the fingers. Inhale down. Stretch. Exhale up. If you can, take the big toe of the left leg with the first two fingers of the right hand, or hold your shin, or bend your knee and hold your knee. And then as you exhale, draw the leg across to your right. And stretch your left arm out at shoulder level. Keep your gaze straight up. Just do what you can. Keep that other straight leg really active. Take 3 breaths there. Draw the inhale into the left side of your rib cage. So you feel that lung really open on that side. And then on the long exhale, which is twice the length of the inhale, go right to the end of the breath. Develop the Uddiyana Bandha and the Mula Bandha. And you can just gently lift your head off the floor now, only a millimeter, not much, just a millimeter, and turn, look at your left hand. Do one more full breath like that. And then inhale, come back to center. Keep hold of the foot or the leg if you can. And exhale, bring the hand back to the side of the body. And then inhale, lower the arm over the head and the leg to the floor. Right arm over the head, leg to the floor. Exhale, both hands to the side of the body. Inhale, bring the left arm over your head. And exhale, raise the left arm and the right leg. One vinyasa. Stretch up, point the toes. Inhale down at the end of the movement. Stretch across your body as much as you can. If you're too close to the wall, you can move down. And inhale, come up again. Take the big toe or the leg, or bend the knee and hold the knee. And on the exhale, go to the left side. Bring your right arm out at shoulder level, but keep looking straight up. When you've found your posture and your breath, you lift your head a millimeter off the floor and then turn your head. So you're very stable in your spine before you turn your head. Get your arm out at shoulder level. And if you can, have the palm down and gaze towards the hand. Soft gaze. Try to keep descending your right hip down away from your right shoulder. And do the breath in the same way. Asana vritti exhales. And inhale, when you're ready, come to center. And exhale. Inhale, lower the arm and the leg. The arm goes back over the head. And then on the exhale, both arms go beside the hips. Hopefully you should feel fairly even in both sides. And then relax in Shavasana. Feet wider than your hips, arms away from your body. You can roll your head a little bit. Feel the need. Let go of Ujjayi breathing. And we'll just release the Marmas. We'll just start by bringing your awareness to your third eye, in line with your eyebrows, inside your head a bit. And completely release any tension there. And then upper palate, drop the upper palate. Relax all the muscles around the eyes so the eyeballs recede in the skull. Release the soft palate and the tongue so there's no tension in the mouth. And let that release flow back through your jawline into the hinge of your jaw. Your mouth can fall open a little bit, doesn't matter. Release Ganta in the throat pit. Ganta Kupa in the back throat, opposite the throat pit. And drop straight down into your heart in the center of your body, just in front of your spine. Hridaya. And release all the muscles around your heart. So you feel your heart just drop a little bit in your chest. And you're hardly breathing. Your awareness is in the heart space. And you're just watching the natural breath there. Deepen your breath. Feet together, arms by your side. Exhale, hug your knees. Just rock around a little bit if you need to. Release your spine. And after the next exhale, round your back, bring your forehead towards your knees, stretch out your back. Squeeze the knees down. Make your way into seated posture, kneeling or cross-legged for Pranayama. Marmas. It's a video one. Make sure you're comfortable with a nice straight spine. If it's a struggle, you can sit with your back against the wall, but you need to be relaxed. And so in that position, bring your left hand into Chin Mudra. You're not going to need your mala just yet. But you have it ready for when you move to the meditation phase. Can you sit up a bit more? No, I mean on blocks. Yeah, so you have to round your back somewhat. Leela, sit up. Okay, we're going to do Nadi Shodhana Pranayama with Marmas. Remember, in the Marma practice, all you're doing is flicking the gaze to the points that I mentioned. You don't have to learn the names at this stage. You don't repeat the names. I'm just doing it so I can guide you. And then when I drop the instruction, you're going to be doing the same. And all you do is very simply switch the gaze to the different points. And when you're exhaling, you're just holding the gaze in the heart. That's simple, nothing complicated about it. But if you're new to it and it makes you feel any tension, then you just go back to the breathing without the focus on the marmas till you're more comfortable. Chin Mudra left hand, first finger to thumb. Vishnu right hand, first two fingers to palm. Thumb and ring finger open and close the nostrils. Chest up, chin down. Nice straight spine. Close the right nostril with the thumb. Exhale completely through the left nostril. Inhale left, look nose tip, third eye, soft palate, navel, perineum, retain, look heart. Exhale right, just keep gazing down into the heart space. Do you feel empty and you feel space? Inhale right, nose tip, third eye, soft palate, navel, perineum, retain, look heart. Exhale left. Inhale left, nose tip, third eye, soft palate, navel, perineum, retain. Look heart, exhale right. Just flicking the gaze. Inhale right, Nasagra, Brahmaja, Lalata, Nadi, Mula. Retain, Hridaya. Exhale left. Inhale left, Nasagra, Brahmaja, Lalata, Nadi, Mula. Retain, Hridaya. Exhale right. Continue in your own time. The next time you exhale through your left nostril, take your time, release the hand, pick up your mala, prepare for meditation. Don't rush your pranayama. When you're ready, pick up the mala, drop your awareness into the heart space or the third eye, and begin to repeat your mantra. The awareness rests very lightly in the third eye, Ajna chakra, or in the heart, Anahata. There's no effort. And that's where you feel the breath, that's where you feel the vibration of the mantra. And the feeling is one of expansion rather than contraction. But it's centered in the point of concentration. And when your mind wanders, gently come back and put the mantra on top of the thoughts and begin again. If you're in the third eye, on the next exhale, drop the prana down into the heart chakra. And just connect back to your body. And begin to gradually deepen your breath. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, bow your head. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Om Bolu Sakrus Bhagavan Ki Jai. Remind yourself the intention you make for your practice. Namaste. Common refrain in the yoga world. It's like, the age of the guru is dead. No more lineage yoga. It all goes to pot. And there's a certain amount of truth to that. But the age of the guru will never be dead. And whatever you offered, whoever you offered, your practice to at the beginning, that's just a form of the guru. So there is a guru that is nearby, a guru that is further away, and a guru that is beyond the beyond. But that'll always be guru. And there's a guru which resides deep in your own heart, your own instinct, your own teacher. And it's a phase that we're going through at the moment, but the guru will always be there, because we all need someone, something, a form, a being, an entity to teach us. And all the great sages and saints have had that. And so there you go, for its worth. That's my opinion. The other thing, I mean, why would we be doing this without Ramaswamy? Would we be doing this without Krishnamacharya? Would we be doing this without Swami Shivananda? Would we be doing it without Goraknath and Matsyendranath? Would we be doing it without Patanjali, without Swapmarama, who wrote the Yoga? No, we probably won't be doing something, but we wouldn't be doing this. So the whole thing exists because of the guru. And the guru literally means somebody who removes darkness and brings light. And so anything that does that for you is your guru. Okay, so when we did the Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing with the Marmas, so when you do that, in the beginning, it can be a bit tricky, but it only takes a bit of practice. And after a while, it's just like using your mala. It's very similar in a way, because all you're doing is touching with your gaze the marmastanas, the places where the prana resides in your body. And it's like when you're doing your mala, you're just touching the bead where the energy of the mantra resides. So it's the same idea. And it's just a technique for keeping your mind really focused where it should be, on the pranic body, when you do your breathing practice. Does that make sense? So after a while, when you get used to it, the moment you close one nostril and you start to breathe in through the left, usually, unless it's a Surya Vedana, if you're doing Nadi, you're just breathing in through the left. The moment you start that breath, your gaze will flick. And as the breath moves through you, your gaze will just go with it. There'll be no effort and no thought. Okay? So in the beginning, it's a practice very worth cultivating. It's very powerful practice. And then there's something else I was going to say at the end. Then I can't remember what it was. It was about the meditation phase. Yes, the mala. So what you want to do when you're doing the Pranayama phase is you want to have the mala really ready. So some people like to wear it loosely on the wrist like that, so they can just pick it off and use it. Another good way to do it, because in your left hand, you're in Chin Mudra. And if you bring the tassel through the whole of the Chin Mudra, like so, when it's on your knee, and then you literally go to the end of the left nostril exhale, and without any pause, on the next inhale, Om, Om. What you want to try to do is set it up for yourself so it's like you don't have even a gap in the breath between the last pranayama breath and the first japa breath. Does that make sense? Because every gap is a space for the mind to creep in. Yes? So if you can do that, and it's, that's one way I like to do it. Sometimes I wear it on my wrist, but that works really well because you've got to find the marrow, haven't you? You've got to find the tassel bead. And if it's sort of like down here like this, and oh yeah, now I've got to find by the time you've found it and you've set yourself up, there's 3 breaths gone, and the whole the prana's kind of dissipated in that time. You've centered that prana for the alternate nostril breathing, which has balanced the Ida and the Pingala, the solar and the lunar Nadi. You put the energy in the central channel, and you want to go straight from that last left exhale into the first inhale mantra. Okay? I've just got to say a couple of things. So I shared a load of links on WhatsApp, which hopefully you're all on the WhatsApp group. Did you see the links? So there's a lot of links there. I did them all in one. Well, there's more to come, but there's quite a lot. Try over the break to explore some of those links. You will learn things about Vinyasa Krama. There's links there to my teacher Sridhar Swami's newsletter, to his website, where there's a blog, lots of information about Vinyasa Krama, which is not easy to find even on the internet. There's a lot of crappy advice about Vinyasa Krama because lots of people, no, that's not a nice thing to say. There's a lot of advice about Vinyasa Krama, which doesn't relate to this tradition because a lot of Vinyasa flow teachers call their classes Vinyasa Krama, but this is a specific tradition. So don't get confused about that. So I've shared some of those things, and I've also shared a couple of things online where other teachers like myself are sharing their teaching. And there are some classes on their channels. One's a YouTube channel and one's is a Facebook channel where there's videos. So you can learn from that. And on Ramaswami's own site, there's a link that there's lots of little videos on there just demonstrating little different parts of the practice. Very interesting. Real old school website, but there's a lot of good information on there. So go back and check them out and, you know, continue with your study. We're having a 2-week break now. Originally it was going to be 1, but now it's going to be 2 because I need more time to sort out my garden. And we're coming back in that we're going to start now. We're starting up again with the satsangs and with the ashram days. So there's the next satsang is going to be Sunday, the 11th of June. Then there'll be one on the 2nd. If you've got the newsletter, which you should all have, all this information is there. And then we're going to start the next ashram day as well. So if you want to interested in any of those things, do it. And the other thing is, if you want to book for next time, do it sooner rather than later. There's a list on the wall at the back there. If you don't want to bother to send me an email, I'll book a space for you. And then a final question. This is the big one. Ready? Okay, so I'm thinking next week of breaking the mold of Vinyasa Krama a bit, because the first tenet of the teaching of Tirumali Krishnamacharya is to not teach what is relevant to yourself, but to teach what is relevant to your student. And so I feel we've spent several terms where we've gone through lots of different types of sequence, lots of different vinyasas. I've shared a great variety of vinyasas with you from the Vinyasa Krama system to give you a flavor and a feel and an understanding of what goes on in Vinyasa Krama. But the feeling I get and the feedback I get from a lot of people is that it's very, very complex, the whole system, and people struggle with fitting it into a daily practice. Does anybody here have that issue? Don't be shy. Well, if you all completely understand the system and the 700 vinyasas and where all the mudras come and when to do this, then I don't need to do it. I just carry on. So you know what I'm saying? It's like what I always say to people, it's not like learning a quartet, it's like a massive symphony. And if you have a lot of time and you're really dedicated and you can practice for a considerable amount of time every day for a long period, you will be able to learn and then adapt the whole sequence. And I've spent a few years doing that. But if that isn't you, and it isn't the majority of general householder people with busy lives in a yoga class, I am going to next term do 3 signature classes. And these classes will expose the kind of like the fundamental precepts of Vinyasa Krama, but they'll be structured in such a way so that you can learn them. And then you will have 3 practices which you can repeat at any time, and they'll be sequential. So the first practice will probably be forward bending predominantly, second practice back bending, and the first practice probably more inversions and pranayama meditation. But they'll all combine all those elements, but it will be a practice which, when you put it all together, makes one practice. So this is what I've talked about before. In Vinyasa Krama, your yoga practice doesn't last for one session or one day. It lasts for anything up to 5 days. And so you do a different sequence every time you practice. And in the end of it, you've done a hell of a lot of different postures. So, but you don't try and cram them in so you rush. You still do them at a very steady pace. And so I'm going to give you these 3 signature classes, and we are going to learn them by heart. So you will be required to practice and learn these sequences over time, not all in the first week. And then we'll do some classes probably the term after, where I won't teach the class, you will do self-practice. Okay? And then when you're comfortable with that, and you don't have to get it perfectly, you know, everybody forgets, you can have a cheat sheet in front of you, you can learn it gradually over time, there'll be new people coming in. But when you've got that, you will be empowered for the rest of your days with a sequence of practices that you will have embedded in your mind. And that is the strength of some traditions like Ashtanga and Shivananda, and also some of the Iyengar teachers do this. And so there's a very set sequence that you learn. And set sequences are great. And Jivamukti, of course, we had 3 major set sequences in Jivamukti, 4 now. And they're really great. I really like set sequences, but they're also can be really limiting. And they have their problems. So I'm going to try and do it in such a way that you get the set sequences, but you don't get the problems. And they will all be sequences that can be developed. So if you're a more advanced practitioner, there'll be ways you can adapt those sequences to develop and advance your practice. And if you find it more challenging, there'll be ways that you can simplify that practice. But the core practice will be the same. And the pranayamas, so you'll be learning the different pranayamas as well. Does that make any sense? That sound good? Okay, that's what we're going to do. Thank you so much for coming this term. Really appreciate it. I can't really tell you how much I appreciate it. So namaste to you.